wild. He runs to the front door. Matty Cat, says Nancy, a.k.a. Little Mama, you need to be careful. Little Mama gently moves Matty Cat away from the front door. But Matty Cat was already frozen in place. His mouth drops in awe and his eyes sparkle from the 10-foot tree that Little Mama and Big Mama carried into the house. It is a Christmas tree. Oh, look, says Nancy. It is Matty Cat's first time seeing a Christmas tree. As Big Mama and Little Mama's arms shake and wiggle from carrying the tree into the living room, Matty Cat follows them. Step by step, he is careful not to stand directly behind his mama's. The last time that happened, Little Mama accidentally stepped onto his paw. There, says Big Mama, as she and Nancy set the tree down in front of the window. Next year, Big Mama continues, we need to get the Christmas tree earlier. Oh, look, Mom, exclaims Nancy as she scoops up Matty Cat. He agrees as well. Oh, Matty Cat. The family of three enjoys the night of Christmas Eve. Drinking a cup of hot cocoa, Big Mama continues to wrap the rest of the Christmas gifts. Then she places the wrapped Christmas gifts underneath the tree. Little Mama decorates the Christmas tree with bright and shiny objects. One of the shiny Christmas tree bulbs catches Matty Cat's attention. Curiously, he moves closer as Nancy places a red glittery bulb at the bottom of the tree. Matty Cat sees a reflection in the red Christmas tree bulb. Another cat. Hissing, Matty Cat arches his back. He is taller and whiter. He stares at his reflection in the Christmas tree bulb. Matty, Nancy says as she reaches for him. As Little Mama's hands wrap around his coat with long fur, he feels his heartbeat slowing down. Matty Cat whimpers and shakes in Nancy's arms. By now, Big Mama is on her feet, next to Nancy and Matty Cat. Nancy points to the different areas of the Christmas tree. See, Matty? They're just decorations. They don't move or talk. None of it can hurt. And look, Nancy continues and crouches to point at the Christmas bulbs at the bottom of the tree. That reflection is yours. It's just you. Oh, Matty, Nancy says and hugs him. Matty Cat gently rests his head on Nancy's shoulder. He is no longer crying or shaking from fear. The following morning is even better. Matty Cat wears his red Santa Claus hat as Big and Little Mama sit around the Christmas tree. And this one, Big Mama says as she reaches for a pretty wrapped gift from underneath the tree, is for our Matty Cat. And his eyes grew twice their size as Big Mama passed over his first Christmas gift. Let's open it. Come on, Matty, says Nancy. It's a toy, Nancy exclaims, lifting his first feathery blue toy into the air. Matty Cat jumps onto the red carpet and runs in circles, chasing his tail. Nancy sets the toy down on the red carpet. Merry Christmas, Matty Cat. And Matty Cat grabs hold of the feathery blue chew toy in his paws. Filled with excitement, he hugs the new Christmas toy and moves his feet up and down on it. And it was the best first Christmas for Matty Cat, and he will never forget it again.
What are we thinking? Matty Cat, Merry Christmas, the sequel. And also, really quick, he's not with us. He's recovering, not from COVID. He had COVID, but not anymore. Peter Olson, who is a producer for the short film, he's not here, but he played such a big role in this and along with other projects. So, Peter, if you're watching, we hope you're better. But also, thank you for being mindful. No one wants to get sick. But also, just really quick, you two, how does it feel to be returning back to Comic-Con?
A little surreal. It's still surreal. I always feel like, I grew up, hearing about like different Comic-Cons and this including So when we got asked to come back, it was like, yeah, I wanted to. I'm sure Alex too. We were like, yeah, no, it's a fun Comic-Con. It's just so many great people we've met like over the past, I think now 2 years we're at. So yeah, still processing. Definitely, I'll admit, it can get overwhelming, but at the end of the day, it's so rewarding. I feel if one person can take something away from Matty Cat, whether they're cat lovers, like animation, I think that's always like a bonus.
Yeah, it's exciting because I had always heard about it, and I see like the cool costumes, and there's just a huge fan base, and being a part of it, and just seeing everyone and like all their different. Oh, hey everybody, we're live.
Yeah.
Just get so excited and come together. You can just see when I got dropped off in a taxi. You could just tell who was on their way to Comic-Con. But it's exciting to be here, and like Natalie said, Matty Cat, there's something to relate to everyone can find something to relate to, and we're just glad that you're here and joining us together.
And I think what works so well with these short films is that they're just so wholesome, Like, if you don't find it wholesome, you're just a hater, Because it's just so nice to see something like that brings people together. Not even just for the youth, as adults sometimes too, you just tend to get into the everyday world stuff. But when you see something like that and it's spreading kindness, it just makes you think, wow, a little bit of kindness can go a long way. So for that, is that one of the main themes that for Matty Cat?
Yes, I think so. I like that one. Don't be a hater. So Matty Cat is actually based on my first time being a cat owner. I actually do have a real cat named Matty at home. He's going to be here today. He's a little anxious around crowds, but I think that's what it was. I grew up with dogs and parakeets, and I never had cats. Not that I never disliked cats, but it's just my family. I think like my biological dad was like allergic to cats, and then my mom, I think she didn't like having animals in the house. But that's actually a true story. My mom, one day, she got to work. Her coworker's like, hey, I found this kitten. He was crying outside my doorstep. And my mom was like, yes, I'll take him home. So I think that's what it was. It's when we brought Matty he's a family cat. He now lives with myself and my partner. I think he just brought like so much joy. And so much like heartfelt, and, to join like the little things. And I never had a kitten. So kittens are definitely different from, puppies, or of course I learned, parakeets. Matty was very hyper, very active. So I think that's what it was. I learned myself too. It's, it sounds cliche, but it was like enjoying the little things, and, taking, Matty, it's taking care of someone, and he's now 12 actually. He just had his 12th birthday. So he's a cat, my animal family that's been with me throughout my 20s and now going into my 30s. So it's very, it's heartwarming, and I feel very like proud that he's still here, and he's still always waking me up at 3 a.m. for his food.
Yeah. I grew up with cats. I have vivid memories of, we had, obviously, spay neuter. But when I was little, in the 90s, we had cats, and my first cat, it was 2 sisters, Cutie and Climber. And from then on, we had like generations of cats, and I have vivid memories of like the kittens, and my dad would nurse these little bottles, and they were just, it also helped me like get over my asthma, which was an amazing thing, having cats around, and also just fostering responsibility when you're a little kid and you can just care for somebody else, like an animal. But that's where we met, partly through our love of cats. But we're animal lovers, and in addition to that, I actually did a commercial for Best Friends Animal Society. So I think it's important to give back and to really give a platform to those who can't speak for themselves, which are animals. So this is a special place in my heart.
And picking off your response, throughout the first and the sequel, your narrating voice is so subtle and warming. How is that process for you? Especially, I feel like, sometimes like Simplicity, I feel like is the hardest thing to pull off because sometimes people think you have to do a little bit more to stand out. But the way that you narrate it, it's just so subtle. So what's that process for you like? And how many takes did it take you to get the right amount of verbiage out there?
Yeah, so we record at a studio outside of Warner Brothers, and Tony Sweet is wonderful. He was very patient with us, and I think we didn't do a whole lot of takes. We did I like a good amount, but not.
I think your first one we did maybe 4 or 5 takes.
Yeah.
And in the sequel, I think we did about 9 takes.
Okay.
So we finished, I remember the sequel, we did recording back in May, so it wasn't that far.
Yeah, it's pretty recent.
I think we did 9 because she's very, Alexandra's very talented, and so is Cisco. They're very on it. And that's what happened with the Matty Cat 2 recording it. It was we have another 2 hours. Let's kind of, the room's ours, let's keep going.
Yeah.
But I want to say, it's about 9 takes for the second one. And it was because, it was just that, we finished so early. And then, it's United Broadcast Network in Burbank.
Yeah, but typically my process, I've been singing for over 20 years. I think voiceover kind of came to me in that way. It was a little more intuitive for me. I do my same, I'm an actor, do my same script analysis for what I would do for any kind of scene that I have. I did it for Matty Cat, and I tried to see what would bring out the most. And the thing for voiceover is you only have your voice, so you really have to make everything come to life and really have everyone feel those little moments of when Matty Cat is scared and he's looking, at the Christmas bulb and all the voiceover purrs and all that. It was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
But I think my approach is kind of to, like you said, simple is better. I think it does depend on the genre, because something more action-packed, you're going to add a little bit more. But I just tried to enhance what Natalie had so wonderfully. Natalie's an amazing writer, what she had written. And and hands off about the animation, right? Do you guys like the animation?
Irene, she's overseas right now. She lives in Spain, but she's amazing. We're happy with what she's doing for Matty Cat.
Yeah, voiceover. Oh, sure.
I have a question maybe for you, Hannah. But with Matty Cat 1 and the sequel, were they written with your voice in mind? And if not, did you have to sort of rewrite as you were reading through to try to, kind of make it more natural? The original script wasn't something that you could really work with, or not work with, but
Yeah, thank you so much for your question.
I say because Alex, like she mentioned earlier, because we had filmed a feature a few years ago, and she was hilarious. It's called Howard Original. It's also deals with cats, but that one's more for adults. I would say it's a rated R, so it deals with the cats. It's a screenwriter who's burned out, and she plays one of the actors that's auditioning, and that's how Alex and I met. It was back in, I think 2019, is right before COVID, and I thought she was hilarious. We had scripted contact, but we also did improv, and I thought, she's really talented. I gotta hit her back up for something. And I think with COVID, we got closer. We were always sending each other cat memes, because I would always post about Maddie. I'm oh, here's the cat, because COVID, what do? You post pictures of the fur babies. And when Matty Cat, was written, I was I feel she'll be perfect. And let me ask her. And I was so nervous. I don't know why, but I think it was one of those. I, was intimidated. I think, because you're so talented, and I just loved. She's so genuine too. She's so supportive, and she's a cheerleader, colleague, friend. She's so supportive as well. And that's how that happened. And I was hey, I wrote the script. You want to be the voiceover? And I would say the sequel definitely, wrote with her voice in mind. We had talked about a sequel, I think, when we were recording the first one. It was something I think you brought up, and I was yeah, let me think. I was let me think. Let me come back to you in a month or two.
I appreciate you being nervous around me, because I'm a dork. But I think And obviously, same for you, wonderful friend, colleague, collaborator. Yeah, back to your question. I think I approached it in a similar way, and I think I love Matty Cat 1, and I love Matty Cat 2 for different reasons. It was just the introduction to the Matty Cat universe, but I think coming in, I kind of, you know, you grow, and I learned more about voiceover, so I felt like I could even dive deeper, especially because it's more of like a nursery rhyme because it is Christmas, you know, like down the swirly twirly gumdrop, I know that, so you want to get into that, and also, I think at that time, I had already done, so I'm on Coco Melon on season 5 on Netflix, so I think I had channeled my nursery rhyme voice definitely in the second one. It's a little bit more pronounced, but yeah, it's the same kind of process. Natalie is a wonderful writer, and it was I never read it where I thought, well, this is not what I would say. And if there are some things that maybe little words here and there, I would just kind of, you know, talk to her about it and say, hey, like, what do you think? Like, tiny, like, oh, do you want to say it is versus it's, you know, and I try to stay as true to, if for any kind of work that I do, any project, I want to stay true to what the writer wants. And then if it ever didn't feel authentic, then I would talk about it. But no, she's a wonderful writer. I think we just stayed on book the entire time. Yeah.
Yeah, it did sound very natural, and that stilted it off, so I was curious.
Thank you.
Well, I have to give her credit too, because for the sequel, I remember I was on my way to the recording studios back in May for Matty Cat, the sequel. And I was thinking that too. I was like, oh, it's kind of more of like a nursery rhyme. And as soon as we met, I remember you're like, oh, do you want me to give, you gave 2 different options. And you're like, for Buddy the Elf, you know, Will Ferrell from Elf, like, yes, that one. So that was definitely, you know, she played off of, and I was like, yeah, no, like, go with that tone, because, I mean, if you haven't seen it, it's such a great movie. But I was like, I have to say that, I have to add it.
I was like, yeah, well, Buddy.
Yeah.
And although when you guys see the final product, they make it look like it's just easy breezy, you know. But as we all know, no path is perfect. So what has been the biggest hurdle as a writer, director, and producer of the sequel compared to the first one?
That's a great question. For me, I'm always very, and I'm sure like you guys both vouch, I'm always very big on like emails. I know with this one, producing so challenging, because I feel that one is definitely, you're dealing with so much. You're dealing with not only like finance, making sure, you know, people are getting their payments, or, you know, things are settled, you know, location for recording. I would say that this one, with the difference between Matty Cat, the sequel, and the first one, I think this one, I felt production and from post was a little faster, which isn't a bad thing. But I felt a lot of that it was happening so fast. Because I know, and it was a good thing, because a lot of people from the first one were very eager to get started in the sequel. But I know for a bit, I felt a little overwhelmed. Because I was like, oh my gosh, it's happening. But I think that was just me, you know, with my nerves and just making sure like I was on top of like my game, and making sure like, you know, come production day, even though it was like 3 hours we knocked out, you know, the narration, it was still making sure like location was booked. You know, Alex had the most up-to-date narration script. So I would say this one, you know, the producing, it can be very tedious work. You're dealing with a lot of things behind the scene that you never see like in front of the cameras. But I would say that was definitely the challenge for the sequel. I think it was just, you know, my nerves being a little higher. It had nothing to do with Alex's performance or Peter, executive producers, or even an animator, Irene. It was just more like, oh, I gotta make sure like I'm getting documents in and people are signing their contracts. So I think that was just that. But you know, we got through it, and so that's kind of, I think, what you do when you're producing. It's, you know, you just get it done, and you know, you communicate with your team if you need help. You're just like, hey, I kind of need a hand. That kind of snowballs into. That's why I brought, you know, Alex on board as a producer for the 3rd film for Matty Cat. So.
Oh wait, we're getting a 3rd film?
Yeah. Oh, I can confirm. Yes, there is a 3rd film.
Okay. I don't want to dive too much into it because we still have to talk about this.
Yes.
But is the title already out there or no?
It is, yeah. So the 3rd one, it's called Your Irreplaceable Matty Cat, And in this one, I can say is Matty Cat gets a new brother named Oliver. And it's actually based on, I just got a kitten named Oliver, it's a black kitten, I want to say back in August. So some of the adventures you'll be seeing with Matty Cat, how he's adjusting to being a big brother, and as well as having a new person in the house.
Oh, from what I gather from your Irreplaceable, I get the subtext that he might get a little jealous.
Might be one of the things.
Okay, so we're gonna see some drama in there.
Might be some drama, but
I have a feeling, since we're sticking to wholesomeness, we're gonna find out how to navigate that in a peaceful way, right?
yes, this one, which I love with these, very family friendly. That one, I'm using, I told Alex about this. Maddie and Oliver, they're getting along now, but Maddie, for the first 2 days, was hissing and growling at myself and my boyfriend because he was very upset about having a new, brother in the house. But yes, it'd be very, I think it'd be something family and cat lovers especially will enjoy.
Yeah, see, and I think what's awesome about these types of short films that you're making is that the human emotions like that, like jealousy or feeling lonely or depression, that's stuff that us as humans don't normally go around telling people, hi, I'm Cisco, I'm depressed, nice to meet you, how about you? But when you see stuff like this, it makes you feel validated and seen. So with this one, I know since you're writing from within your own life, are there any subtle messages that we might have missed that maybe we have to watch a couple times? Is there anything that you feel like should resonate with the audience that we may not have catched?
That's a great question. He's such an excellent moderator. No, that's a great question. I haven't been asked that before. For this one, I myself, even rewatching it, for the past few months, different festivals, even right now. I think something, I would say it's open-ended for anyone, but I know for me, just watching it again, it had to do more with, I think embracing, those moments we define as being too little. That's what resonated with me right now. It's, Maddie, it's, him right now looking at the Christmas bulb and he's playing, with a toy. I'm like, oh, something like that. I know being me, a cat mom I am, I would be taking, a million photos and videos of that because that's what I do with my cats. I'm like, oh, because they're getting big, and especially with Oliver right now because he's 5 months, he's grown so much within the past, we're on, I think, 2 months now of having him. So that's what, I took away myself as an audience member right now, and I don't know for anyone else here, but I think it's animals, right? They're animals, but in the day for many of us, they're family, and that little snip right there with the cat playing with this blue toy. I'm I would, if that was happening in real life, I would be using that as a Christmas card for everyone.
Yeah, and Alex, for you, since this is your second time with the team, how do you feel I want to say first again, I want to make it clear that when you go the simple, when something comes off as simple, it's really hard to do. So for you this time around, was there anything that you found was a little bit challenging for you? I know you said that you were taking more of a nursery rhyme, but for you, what's something that was challenging for you to do? You know what, maybe I don't like that take, but it ended up making the final cut.
Yeah, it's funny how it's for singing and I find that for acting and singing and voiceover, sometimes you feel oh, I'm really doing this, and then you look at the playback, it's it's not there, because what we as artists don't always see is that what we're feeling is not translating on the screen, and that's why it's important for you to film yourself, and whether that's film yourself acting or recording yourself, because you can have all this emotion, but when it's coming out of your body, it might not be reading to an audience member. So it's for acting, for straight acting, they kind of call it having the river underneath you, but you want to be able to see that on screen, and if it's not intense enough, then you just do it go again. And I found that, I think there were some times when I did the takes, and this is also just me being me, because I'm very particular about doing,
I'm very detail oriented, and if I feel like I'm not in the pocket, then I just want to start over. But we went through, we did like all the takes fully through, we didn't stop. But I do remember thinking at some points, you know what, I have a better one in me, because you feel like you're giving so much, and then there's always more to give. There's always like a different like intonation you could use, or a different emphasis, or if you just take a break, like I think we took like a little 5-minute break and we just talked about like other projects, then you can look at it in a different way. But I think the challenge that I had was just don't get in your head, and that's just for anybody, any artist. It's hard to not get in your head because you keep looking at it over and over, and then it becomes mush. And it's like, you know what? I'm talented. I can just move forward. And we had, I think, after the little breaks that we would have, it kind of gave new inspiration. But I think that's something that I would just say to actors: just don't overthink it. Just really prepare before, and like I was saying, do the script analysis. I like to watch other voice actors on YouTube, what they do, and see how big they get. Even like watching like Jim Carrey or the lady who voices one of the voices on Simpsons is like fantastically talented, and you just kind of pull from everybody. And then even seeing things that are more subtle, where there are celebrities that are hired just to do their voice. So just kind of pulling from all those things and then letting it simmer, and when you go into the studio, it just comes out. And then you just let it be, and you let the magic happen.
I think so too. That's what I love about directing. I wanted to add real quick. I've been very grateful. Like, I've worked with so many talented people, actors, and then crew. And I feel like with this case, with narration, it's typically just director, audio engineer, and then your actor. And what I love, working with Alex, and I think that's why we continue to work with each other. Now going on, what is it now, like 4 years, 5 years? It's because she's, we just communicate. And that's what I love. I think that's what I love about directing. I love the actors like, hey, can I try like another take? Or hey, I kind of want to try something new. I like to think I'm always like, yeah, no, let's go for it, because I feel that's the beauty of like the collaboration part. Yes, there's like the blueprint, the script, and you might say in this tone, but at the end of the day, I feel like trust your actors. If they're like, hey, my instincts tell me to do this, like trust them to like take you there. And I feel we did that definitely with the sequel. I always think of the Buddy the Elf, for instance.
All right, awesome. And also, really quick, you guys just said that you guys have been collaborating for 4 years. Are there any other projects aside from Matty Cat that the audience out there can look forward to?
I think so, yeah. We're going to talk about it some more today. We got something else cooking.
Can we get a little bit of a sneak peek, or can we get a little bit of a synopsis?
I think so, yeah. We actually just sent her, Alex, a script about, was that like a week ago? The time flies, a week ago. And what's exciting about this, so this one would be live action, but we're thinking of doing a project that's dealing with 2 sisters, and it goes into their Latin culture and then their background, the Aztec bloodline. I've never done a project like that, so I'm very excited. I think it's definitely different. I love going different genres. Doing something like Matty Cat. I mean, so it's more for like, kind of like the more adult crowd. Yeah.
We also just wrapped. Natalie and I have we like to work on very different kinds of. We just lots of different themes. We just wrapped our short film Dumpster Fire. It's based on it's a dark comedy short film inspired by The Bear. Who has seen The Bear?
Yeah.
Definitely a little different from Merry Christmas, Matty Cat. But we shot in Studio City. We had a wonderful day, got everything we needed in I think under 10 hours. It was jam-packed, but we worked efficiently. Peter and I actually popped on as producer on this one with Natalie. So it was a nice introduction for me, because that was my first time producing
a legit project, SAG-AFTRA. And seeing everything from the producer point and the actor point just shows like how acting is amazing, but it's like just a component of what the industry is, and all the moving parts and location and securing crew and securing funds. And we had launched a Seed and Spark campaign, and we raised, I think, around $6,700. And it went really well, and that helped to set the foundation for our shoot. And transitioning from producer into acting, I was thankful for you and Kevin, our other producer. We were able to hold the way, because at some point, when an actor is producing, you also have to know when to step into the role. And then after that, I was able to step into post-production. So it was a wonderful experience. We actually also cut some music for it.
She's a wonderful singer. We just recorded that 2.5 weeks ago. And that's something too I want to give her credit for. I mean, same thing like with Matty Cat. Her and Taylor Box, he's a wonderful actor that plays alongside Alex in Dumpster Fire. I think Taylor was singing, and then you guys were talking about music, and I was just like, that makes sense for you guys to do like a soundtrack, song. And I feel like that's also what's been wonderful with, I think, working with Alex, and then especially, as well as Taylor. It's, again, it's like with Dumpster Fire, something with Matty Cat. You have the script, you have the blueprint, but I love when actors, they'll do something and it's like completely improvised, because I feel 9 out of 10 time, it just comes out of them naturally. And I always feel like, trust your talent. If they're passionate about the role, you can see it. And I felt like it's all the same with Alex and with Taylor on Dumpster Fire. And that's how we snowballed into, doing the music. Taylor, he brought his guitar and he started strumming, during a take. And I'm like, oh, okay, like, they really want to sing. Like, let me see if they're available to do a song. And they both were like, yes, like, let's do it. I don't know if you guys were working on the song already.
We weren't. It was funny because we barely had any rehearsal, but we were just so like, yes, that it was going to work. Taylor did start working on it on his own, but we had the rehearsal on Zoom. Thank goodness for Zoom. And then we wrote it. He did some demos on Audacity and then sent them over so I could rehearse. We met a little bit before we recorded, and then we laid it down. It was just super quick. And I think also because Taylor's been a professional musician, and I have too for many years, it just, those kinds of things, you get used to getting up to speed quickly. But we just were really collaborative. We did both the music and the lyrics together, very open. And really quick, Dumpster Fire does follow the story of Trish. She is a waitress, she's down and out, and she's also an actress, and she's navigating her life, and she finds a friend in a homeless man named Sewer Bob, and he helps to bring her back to her path and helps to reassure her to never give up. So we are very excited to show you guys soon Dumpster Fire, but yeah, definitely the song is being cut and mixed and mastered right now.
And I have to add, in a week. In 1 week, we're actually going to be doing the narration for Matty Cat 3.
Yeah.
That flies by us. I'm like, okay, so and we're going to be back at United Broadcasting Network. I highly recommend checking them out. They're wonderful podcast recording, and like Alex mentioned, Tony Smoot, the owner, I mean, he's amazing. He loves helping out creators. So yeah, we're doing that in a week. That flies by. So definitely stay tuned. It's going to be, I'm really excited. We just got the first phase 1 of the animation for part 3 of the Matty Cat film series. And we might see Matty, maybe a little older, so stay tuned.
And I hate to be the party pooper, but we are wrapping up on time. But I just want to give them a big round of applause. Our writer, our director, our producer, Natalie Rodriguez, starring Alexandra Almendarez, and Peter Olson, who's the producer on this short film. Thank you guys. Thanks to the Go Getter team. They might be small, but they're definitely mighty. You guys heard that. You guys raised over 60,000, around 50, 60,000?
6,700.
6,700. Okay, but that's still a lot, you know? Like, I don't have that in my bank account. So, I know that we're definitely going to see way more of the Matty Cat universe. So, thank you all of you who's participated and watched, and all of you online. This is not the end of Matty Cat. It seems like we're going to have Matty Cat 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 through 10. And I can't wait to see the evolution of that. But thank you guys all so much for being here. And thank you, Comic-Con LA. We will be back next year.
Yay.
Goodbye, everybody.
Thank you, everyone.
Really excited. Can we plug our social media?
Oh, yes.
Yeah,
That's
so
smart.
if you'd like to follow our journey, my name is Alexandra Almendarez. You can follow me at I am Alexandra Almendarez online, also alexandraalmendarez.com. And if you just Google my name, you'll find me, find all my search engine. Thanks, guys.
And then, real quick, if you want to see photos of the OG Matty Cat and his little brother Oliver, you can follow us on Instagram and Facebook. So Instagram is going to be Matty Cat or Matty_Cat_2012. Or if you just search it, you can find it. You'll see some of the animation and some behind the scenes of what the real Matty's up to.
And my Instagram is at CiscoXDisco, because that rhymes.
Nice.
All right, guys. Thank you for tuning in. We'll see you guys next year.
Bye, guys.